Hi, children. Wishing you a wonderful day. I'm pretty sure that you read the reader daily and do the homework, whatever is given every day without fail. Okay, now let me start the class with point number 9. Lesson number 2, Mauritius, written by R.K. Lakshman. Point number 9. There is no railway in Mauritius. Well maintained trunk and arterial roads connect various villages and towns, cutting through the ubiquitous sugarcane fields. Although the whole country is only 64 km by 50 km in size, driving round the island for sightseeing makes me feel curiously that I am in a place as sprawling as India. But the excellent weather and breathtaking landscapes all around make up for many hours spent just sitting inside a car. It is very common for people to drive up and down an average 70 kilometer to a cocktail party or dinner with friends. Explanation. There is no railways in Mauritius, but can see well maintained roads and arterial means important routes or roads that connect many villages and towns, and those passes through sugarcane fields that is found everywhere. Ubiquitous means found everywhere, and the size of the country is just 64 kilometer by 50 kilometer. But a person one who goes for a drive around the island for sightseeing would seriously feel that he is in a place as sprawling means spread out in a large area as in India. The person would feel that he is in a place as spread out as India, which is in a irregular, sprawling means irregular way. But it has an excellent weather and beautiful and unbelievable sceneries. Landscapes mean sceneries or natural views all around. A person can spend many hours together sitting inside a car and enjoy the sceneries. It is very common for the people of Mauritius to go up and down for a long drive. For the people of Mauritius to go up and down for a long drive for an average of 70 kilometer to have a cocktail party, eat and drink appetizers or starters before a main meal with the friends, to have a cocktail party or dinner with the friends. Point number 10. I note the trees here are so unlike the gigantic specimens I have seen in Andaman Islands. Disappointingly enough, they are short and gnarled even in the interior of jungles, looking just like abnormally overgrown bonsai. These jungles have no lions, tigers, or elephants, or any kind of wildlife. There are not even poisonous snakes or insects. The bat was the only mammal before man arrived on the island with the monkey and the deer centuries ago. Unfortunately, the birds are dwindling in number and variety. The dodo, a bird which could not fly and which certainly had no claims to beauty and elegance, was a native of this island and mercifully is extinct now. And so are the giant tortoises of the Aldebra variety, of which a few specimens have been brought and kept in an enclosure in the botanical gardens at Pomple Moses. So now the explanation. The trees that are found here are different from the very big and the gigantic specimens that are found in Andaman Islands. Even in the interior part of the jungles, the trees are short and gnarled. Gnarled means twisted, which just look like a bit overgrown than the bonsai trees. And no kind of wildlife is found except like a lion, tigers, elephants. Not even poisonous insects and insects are found there. And the only mammal, bat, was found before man settled in this island with the monkeys and the deer some centuries ago. Unluckily, even the number and the variety of birds are also dwindling. Dwindling means gradually reducing in this island. And dodo, this is that bird, dodo, was the only bird found in this island. It cannot fly high and it had no beauty. But now even dodo is not to be seen. It has disappeared and or distinct. Sorry, extinct. The giant tortoise of Aldabra variety, few of its specimens were brought and kept in an enclosed area in the botanical garden at Moses. Point number 11. The people of Mauritius shudder to think of the night the king cyclone struck them. On February 6th, 1975, a 320-kilometer broad howling wind moved in at some 255 km per hour. The eye of the cyclone alone, I was told, was 48 km wide, and it churned the country for 2 days, relentlessly flattening everything that stood, smashing windows and doors, tearing up rooftops, uprooting trees, and bringing them down on buildings. So now the explanation. On February 6th, 1975, a 320 km broad howling wind, which moved at a speed of some 255 km per hour, struck Mauritius. R.K. Lakshman was told that the main point of the cyclone, from which cyclone arose, was itself 48 km wide, and it churned means moved about vigorously with full strength and energy in the country island, that is island Mauritius, for 2 days, relentlessly means without stopping, and flattened everything that stood upright, smashing means break into pieces. The doors and the windows were broken into pieces. The rooftops, that's the outside part of the building, the rooftops, and were damaged and were removed and uprooted means pull up and throw. So the trees were uprooted and they were thrown on the buildings. So this is the king cyclone that struck Mauritius on February 6th, 1975. In the year 1975, and the people shudder means tremble when they think of it. They shiver to think of the night when the king cyclone struck Mauritius. Point number 12. Then now, of course, the island has recovered from the devastation, but the valley of the dead trees gives me a fair idea of the enormous violence with which the cyclone had struck these people, who are actually quite used to facing these storms as they are an annual event in Mauritius. But the big ones come only once in 15 years. The sad part of it is, by the time the next one is due, the memory of the previous disaster fades or nearly comes to be believed as a myth. So, again, trees are planted in congested areas, tall buildings come up, plate glass picture windows are fixed, and rooftops are put up with an eye on elegance. But sure enough, at the end of the 15-year period, the king cyclone appears promptly on the horizon to surprise the people of Mauritius. Then later, when R.K. Lakshman visited the island, and it was recovered, the island was recovered means it was returned to a normal state from the devastation means destruction. But the dead trees that was between the hills and the mountains, the dead trees between the hills and the mountains gave him a right idea, an appropriate idea of that very big and great cyclone, of how it had violently attacked and affected the people of Mauritius. How violently it had attacked and affected the people of Mauritius. And the people of Mauritius are quite used to these kind of cyclones because often they face such storms. That it's an annual event which occurs every year in Mauritius. But the big one, the king cyclones struck only once in 15 years. The sad part of these big cyclones are by the time the next one comes, they forget about the disaster, the great damage caused by the earlier one. It gradually disappears from their memory and would be believed as a myth. Myth means as a traditional story of early history, or like myth explaining a natural event. And so again, trees are planted in congested areas. Congested means very crowded areas, and tall buildings are built, and thick glass with pictures for windows are fixed, and elegant means beautiful and excellent rooftops are put up. But to the surprise of the people of Mauritius, at the end of the 15th year period, again the king cyclone would struck promptly without fail, without any delay on the horizon. Point number 13. A coral reef ridge runs all around the island parallel to the shoreline, keeping the